Ciao ragazzi, LordTeox here and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. We're a couple of hours away from the new 1.3 update. Really happy, really exciting, new character, new weapon. But today what I wanted to talk to you about is the new consumable, Dust of AZOTH. If you're wondering guys what the new gadget does, we can read all about together in the new MIOYO 1.3 update post. I will leave you a link down below so you can go and check out everything. So the new consumable Dust of AZOTH can convert the elemental type of character materials. If you're tired to fight Oceanic, this is definitely the gadget for you. Definitely one of the updates I was waiting for guys. That's very good. That's basically allowed us to fight every boss we want in the map. Maybe the one we're stronger against, the one it's easy for us, the one like we actually just prefer to fight instead of someone who it's very hard to really depend on the character. And that's very good. Also, if we're going to the Oni Impact website, guys, we can see the Dust of Transmutation, the gadget we're talking about now, works with the 1-to-1 ratio. I will also leave you the link down below for you guys so you can go and check that out. And now for the second part of the video, I will show you guys all the bosses in the game. Just remember this video, it's a guide. It's not about doing the maximum amount of damage in less amount of time. I will show you all the mechanic of the bosses and my safest way to beat them. Let's go! The first boss we're gonna go against, guys, is the big cryo plant, as I like to call it. I will pause every time there is something important I would like you to notice. So don't be mad at me, and I will try to explain the whole situation. So as you can see from the beginning of the fight, you will have a big orb in the middle of the plant. And definitely what you would like to bring with you is at least one pyro character. In this case I brought Bennett and Diluc, especially also for the pyro buff we will have of our attack. And as you can see, the first things you need to do is break the orb. It's very easy with the pyro character. I showed also a little bit with the Zhongli. And as soon as you break the orb, big cryo plant will do is to fall. That's basically your bigger chance to start to deal some damage. The damage you will do when the plant is down is definitely much more higher than the plant is up. I would like you to notice, guys, that in Genshin Impact all the bosses have two different phases. One is damage and the other one is attack. Basically, when it's a damage phase, the boss allows you to attack the boss and take damage, and vice versa. When this is the attack phase, the boss basically attack you, and this is the moment where you should defend yourself. Now the plant is down, and is the moment where, guys, you need to deal the maximum amount of damage. Bennett ulti, Diluc ulti. And as you can see, we did quite a good amount of damage. As you can see now, the boss is preparing one of the, I would say, the most annoying phases. It's gonna be basically what I would like to call it, like a laser made out of cryo, who is going 360 degrees around the map. I didn't really dodge that well, and normally what I'm trying to do is use the Zhongli shield, or you can use another shield like Noel, or you can simply try to play a little bit with the iframe and try to dodge it. As you can see, guys, I didn't really dodge it that well. I didn't really apply the shield. I applied the shield too late, but I would like to notice that this cryo laser also apply cryo effect on the floor, on this like 360 degrees on the floor of the map. So basically, if you're standing there with the character will also apply with cryo and will slowly take damage. As you can see, guys, the orb we have on the bottom of the monster before now is on top, and is where his head is. And what the monster tries to do is try to attack you. But if you're fast enough and you use again a pyro character, in this case I use Bennett, you can try to eat the same orb at the same time the monster try to attack you. What I use here, it's the Zhongli shield for, of course, don't take any damage. But if you do it without shield, guys, you will take damage and you will not be able to attack the monster. Attacked, went well, and I start using some pyro character for doing the same things with Dialog. I apply the shield again, I use the ulti again, and I try to finish him off. The next boss, guys, we're gonna face is Fire Plant. My team composition is a little bit different. Of course, I cannot use Diluc and either Bennett because it's immune to fire. So I went to Razor 4, try to do a little bit of damage, and Overload, which is actually very useful against this plant. I use Barbara as my healer, but at the same time is the only water character I have who can break the shield very fast. It's pretty much the same pattern as the boss before. You will have an orb which is made out of fire, in this case at the bottom of the monster at the beginning, and what you need to do is try to destroy it with a water character or maybe a cryo character. You can also try to use Ganyu in this case, but water it's much faster. And again, when the plant is down, what I'm doing now is using Ganyu ulti for take advantage of the superconduct, Razor ulti, and try to do as much damage as I can. Since Razor ulti was still up, I attacked the Pyro Plant anyway, but this is definitely a good example for you guys to understand and see my damage is much lower than when the plant is down. That's also why the reason you should break the orb, and that's also why the reason you should attack the plant when it's down with your ulti and deal the maximum amount of damage you can. As before, guys, the orb moves from the bottom part of the monster to the top part, and I protect Barbara with the Zhongli shield, and after I broke the orb again in the same way I did with the cryo. Another things I would like you to notice, guys, is the plant now is basically almost up, but you still have a frame where the plant takes the same amount of damage when it's down. So as you're gonna see now, for the next 2 or 3 hits, I will deal the same amount of damage as I do before, and that's allowed me to kill the plant before attacking me again. The next boss one we're gonna talk about is the Qeeo boss. The reason why I was struggling, guys, is because I didn't know how to break the pillar. So basically the boss at the beginning of the fight will summon this pillar and it will stand on top of it. The easiest way to break the pillar, as you can see, is using a claimer character. Can be Diluc, can be Noel, can be Bidu, can be Razor. So that's definitely the fastest way. Of course, also Zhongli shield and Noel shield, even if the boss is immune to Qeeo damage, they still help to break the shield. So what you're gonna do is try to break the shield as fast as you can. And normally for the first phase, it's very rare that you can break the shield right away. So the boss will move to another pillar and it will start attack you. This is one of the best RNG you can have at the beginning. It's like a fire gun and it's trying to eat you. So what I normally recommend is stay behind the pillar, and at the same time it will do damage to the pillar. So that's basically what I did. What you need to do when it's done is try to run as fast as you can under the pillar when the boss is. I show you with the Ganyu, or generally you can use any archer. You can also use Ember or Fischl, but the boss, as long as he has his cube all around, he doesn't take any damage. That's why you need to go under and try to break. In this case, the attack he's doing is an attack where you basically gonna go down to the floor and you will take damage all around this area. So what I use is a Zhongli ulti frame for basically avoid the damage. You can use also any other ulti like Razor, Diluc, whatever ulti you can use who has a high frame for not take any damage. Here we go, didn't take any damage. I also make some damage to the pillar, and now the Qeeo boss is down. And as we talked about before, this is the time where you need to deal damage. This is the damage phase, it's not the attack, it's the moment where you need to deal as maximal as damage as you can. After that, the boss will move to a second phase, and at the beginning I really didn't understand what to do. Now of course it's much more easier, but it will summon a small orb on the right of one of the two pillars left, and what you need to do is basically broke the orb and will build a shield all around you, and in this case you will not take any surrounding damage. As you can see, I broke the orb and now I can attack again the boss and I'm protected by a shield. In this phase I got quite lucky with the critical, so we actually did quite a lot of damage. When you're almost done with the HP of the boss, what the boss will do is enter in another phase, and in this case will summon 3 different pillars, and for finishing the fight and and beat the boss, you will need to destroy the pillar. These pillars are much more, they have much more lower HP and resistance than the other one, so it's pretty easy to, I would say, destroy them. And the deal is still the same. You can do geo damage. I used the Zhongli shield at the beginning, and after you just go with the Claymore user and you're gonna finish in the fight and beat the boss. If you don't do that, guys, what the boss will do is basically absorb an amount of health depending on how many pillars you got left, and from there you need to start all over again, reduce the HP of the boss almost to 0, and it will summon the pillar again. If you destroyed 1, it will summon 2. If you destroy 2, it will summon just 1, and so go on. When you destroy all the 3, that's the only way to finish in and beat the boss. The next boss we're gonna beat, guys, is the Electro boss. It is definitely, in my opinion, the most aggressive one, so maybe also the most difficult one. This is definitely one of the best RNG you can have at the beginning of the fight. So basically what the boss does is rock, paper, scissors. In this case you cannot deal any damage, you just need to protect yourself with a shield or use iframe to like dodge the attack, and or you can just stay very far away. As you can see now, guys, is the moment where you can actually deal damage. Of course, it's an Electro boss, so it's gonna be immune to Electro, and the same things as before. When in this situation, you need to try to deal as much as damage as possible. Another phase is this one. Is actually one of the most easy, I would say. You stay far away, like I did. You go back in again, and you attack. When it does this tornado against you guys, you have around 80% chance that the next phase will be attack you immediately. I got a little bit lucky, so I had the chance to do a couple of hits, but as you can see, it was like a very short phase. I didn't have the time to deal a lot of damage. Now is my favorite phase of the boss. What I would like you to focus, guys, are these small little cubes around the boss. From there, you will have electro laser go all around 360 degrees around the map, who can actually stun you and deal a lot of damage. Zhongli shield and Noel shield maybe can protect you a little bit, but they deal really a lot of damage. So it's actually, when you get hit, it's quite annoying to try to avoid the next laser who is coming towards you. You need to try to get inside, close to the boss, and that's the real moment where you need to deal in the maximum amount of damage. Bennett ulti, Diluc ulti, Zhongli ulti, and now guys you will see something very similar to the Qeeo boss before, but instead of pillar we will have electro orb. In this case, for destroy them, you don't need a claymore use. Actually, you cannot even destroy them with a normal attack, with physical damage attack. So what I normally recommend to bring is can be Bennett or Shanlin or Ganyu in this case, or Diluc E, because the only way to destroy them is do some elemental damage which is not electrical. As you can see, you destroyed all the three and you are done with the boss. Same as before, if you leave at least one of them, the boss is not done. You will recover a little bit of HP and you need to start all over again. Next boss is the Anemo boss. 80% of the time the boss starts with this pattern, and it will try to suck you very close to the center of the boss with this kind of gravity area. So you have two options. What I normally recommend, and is the safest, is to stay very, very far away. The other option can be what I did, is to try to attack the boss. As you can see, you can deal a little bit of damage, but as soon as all the cubes they're coming back towards you, that's the signal where you actually need to use some iframe ulti. Normally, if you take damage here, 99% of the time your character is dead. But again, what I did is using Zhongli ulti and try to play a little bit with the frame, and I didn't took any damage. From there, I was already super close to the Anemo boss, and I try to deal as much damage as I can. As the Electro boss, the Anemo boss has the same mechanic, so it will try to attack you in this way. And what I show you guys now is I'm playing a little bit with the frame and dodge the attack. And thanks to that, I was super close to the boss and I attack again. As we deal more damage, the boss will try to go higher in the air, and it will try to attack us from top. You can easily dodge the attack and also attack the boss. The next phase of the boss will be this mini tornado round. They're not super hard to, I would say, dodge. The other things you can do is stay very far away. There is actually an achievement in this phase where if you use an elemental skill very close to one of the tornado will take the color of your elemental skill. So for example, if you use Bennett E, will take the color of red, and Fischl, Electro, and so go on. If in this amount of time you can apply all the elements we have in the game, and after beat the boss, you will have an achievement. After the tornado, I think this is the best window and the longest window you can have for dealing your damage. As the other boss, the Anemo hypostasis will enter in the last phase, and in this case you will need to collect all the orbs around the Anemo boss for beating. After you collect all of them, you cannot deal any damage to the boss, so you need to wait a little bit until the boss does another attack. 80% of the time the boss will start again with the same pattern he started the fight. And here you have two options. Like before, you can go very far away, that's normally what I recommend, or if you can deal enough damage, you can actually finishing the fight in this way. I couldn't deal enough damage, so what I did, I used the same mechanic as before, and I use Zhongli ulti for avoid the damage. After that, the boss is done. The last boss we're gonna talk about is Oceanid. So in this case, it's a little bit different. You don't need to actually fight the boss himself, so you don't need to deal damage to the boss, but it will summon different water mini boss, I will say. So what you need to do for defeating him is actually defeat the small bosses. I would normally say that this boss is one of the most annoying to fight, but after Ganyu arrived, it's actually become one of the easiest one. I will not say it's the faster, but definitely not complicated to fight. As you can see, this team composition can make your life very easy against this boss. After you beat the first wave of monster, what the boss does is try to reduce your area of fighting, and is basically start to sink some of the platform around you. In this case, there is actually really nothing you can do. If you fall into the water, you're not gonna die, nothing will happen to you, you just need to swim and go back to the platform. Of course, if you fall into the water and you try to fight all the mini bosses around you, will not be easy. When you're very close to defeat the boss and you will enter in the last one of the last phases, the boss will try to attack you with this huge ball of water. When he explodes, it will deal a big amount of damage, 360 degrees all around you. What you try to do, and what I try to do, is basically you can dodge it jumping into the water, or you can use shield, Zhongli shield, Noel shield, and that will be enough at least for protect you a little bit and not take the full amount of damage and die. In this case, we didn't have such a huge variety of mini bosses. In this case, you can also have an achievement about fighting all the different mini boss the Oceanid can summon. I already got this, it's not super hard. I think if you fight it, I would say 5 to 6 times and you're not super unlucky, you should get it. So that's the water boss. This one was the last boss, guys. Of course, this gadget would allow us to proceed in the game much more faster, and will also avoid to fight this annoying boss we don't want to fight. That's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon. Ciao ciao.